Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dreamleapers Inspiration. I'm your host, Harriet Cole. So very happy to be with you today. I hope you are doing really well. And what I mean by that is, whatever state you are in, that there is a calm, an acceptance, a connectivity that you have to where you are, however you are. Literally, I mean physically where you are. I also mean, what is the state of your heart? What is the state of your physical body? What is the state of your relationships? Whatever you find yourself in, whatever state those aspects of you are in, I hope you can accept them. Accept where you are and how you are. And so today we're going to talk about being resilient. And as I was thinking about this topic and researching it, one of the things that kept coming up about the concept of resilience, about resiliency, is strength. And the second piece that kept coming up is acceptance, which is why I have begun this engagement right now, saying to all of us, do we accept where we are? Now, it doesn't mean if you are in a position that is uncomfortable that you accept that you have to stay there. If you feel stuck, it doesn't mean that you have to give in, that you have to surrender to being stuck. Not that at all. It is accepting where you are, really recognizing where you are, and then making a decision as to how to move forward. That ability to see and accept reality is something that, in an interesting way, can be eye-opening. Because once you actually see, okay, this is what's happening in my life, this is where I am, these are the circumstances in which I find myself. And then what do I have to do with them? What am I going to do with where I am in this moment? So everybody, I want us to get into that space, okay? So let's do a little mini meditation together right now. Wherever you are, take a pause. This is only for a few minutes, so even if you are at work or you need to be working, if you can give yourself a few minutes, I promise you it'll be worth it. Put your feet flat on the floor, wherever you are, and really allow your feet to be grounded. Imagine that the floor is the earth, and you are pressing the soles of your feet and the balls of your feet and your toes into the earth. Imagine that you're pressing them into the earth. And then you're sitting up tall, relaxed but tall. You're allowing your spine to elongate so that the breath can move comfortably in and out of your physical body. So now let's just breathe naturally. As soon as I say that, I find myself breathing a little bit more deeply. What about you? Breathe, allow the breath to move in and out of your body with ease, but also with depth. So often we breathe shallowly. I've been accused of that. My husband tells me that I breathe shallowly, and whenever I notice it, then I take a deep breath. Just breathe in deeply and allow the breath to leave your body, allowing any tension to wash away. And as you breathe in the goodness of this moment. Breathe in goodness. Exhale any discomfort that you may have. Just allow yourself to breathe fully and naturally. And continue that easy, full breathing. You can close your eyes if you like. This is your moment, so there's no reason for you to think about anybody else. And honestly, that aspect of you that I want you to concentrate on now is the inner aspect. So you don't need to look, just be. Just breathe. Breathe into your soul. And exhale. Allow any tension to leave your body. Allow yourself to connect to that deepest part of you. And as you do that, I want you to ask yourself a question. It's a big question, so many answers may come, or maybe one will emerge. What is your state right now? How are you feeling? What's happening within your being? What is your state? Right now, how are you feeling? What's agitating you? What's making you smile? What's allowing you to stay present in this moment? Notice your state. Do you feel still? Do you feel fidgety? Do you feel contentment, sadness, achy, relaxed? What do you feel? What is your state? Could you possibly feel physically uncomfortable and grateful at the same time? What is your state? Anything that comes up, just notice the feelings. Notice the thoughts that come up as you engage your soul and ask your soul, what is my state right now? Right now, I'm in a place where the wind is blowing. I'm in my happy place. The wind is blowing and I'm relaxed. And I recognize the challenges that live around me. I embrace the gratitude of being able to be exactly where I am at this moment, both physically and emotionally. I'm grateful for being able to see where I am and what I'm facing. How about you? When you're ready, please gently open your eyes. Whatever came up for you, please write it down. If you'd like, you can write it in the chat box. We'd love to have you share whatever came up for you. What's your state? How are you feeling? Write it down. Share. You can also write it in your journal. It's good to have a few minutes of meditation and then harvest that meditation. What came up for you? What happened inside of your being when you got still, you engaged your breath, and you asked yourself an important question? Like today's question, what is my state? What happened? What did you notice? What came up for you? A lot of times people have these aha moments when they just have tiny little engagements of meditation. That was short, just a couple of minutes. All it takes is a couple of minutes for you to be still, to invite your being to collect itself up into one space. Yoga literally means union. And the idea in Eastern philosophy is that yoga is the union of mind, body, and spirit. And when those three come together in alignment, you get to see so much more clearly because you don't have warring aspects of your being fighting for different types of attention. Think about that. Does it make sense? Because if you imagine, if could be true for you right now, you want to be here. You want to take this moment for yourself to get inspired, and you have something to do. There's a checklist that's long, and trust me, I have one of those lists. And part of you is, chomping at the bit, so to speak, to get to that next thing. So you're only halfway paying attention. Or maybe there's another human being in your midst who's pressing you to pay attention to him, her, they. Maybe there's something in your body that's uncomfortable, that's pulling on your attention and making it, in your mind, impossible to focus on this moment. Whatever it is, if you are able to take the moment and to invite yourself to be still, to invite your mind to quiet, to invite your body to just engage and be present and open, invite your spirit to be open and welcoming to whatever message is supposed to come for you, that creates a union of the collective energy within your being, and then you can see better. I'm serious about this. This is not airy-fairy. This is not difficult to achieve, while at the same time it's incredibly difficult to achieve. Both are true. To still your mind is not easy. And yet, hopefully, many of you felt it happen in those couple of minutes. It's all about intention. When you set the intention that you're going to have an experience, then you focus your energy to having that experience. Usually, the experience occurs. Now, think about that. When you set the intention to have an experience, to complete a task, to do something, when you set a clear intention and you tell yourself, your being, and perhaps others around you, I am going to accomplish X. This is what is about to happen. And you focus all of your energy on that, most times it happens. Now, why should that be anything other than great? It depends on what intention you're setting. I have talked to so many people who get caught up in something that is negative, who get caught up in the complaint, who get caught up in the finger pointing. And when they do that and they're placing blame outside, they are believing that the source of their state in the moment is somebody else's fault, is somebody else's responsibility, then all kinds of havoc occurs because they've given away their power. And it doesn't matter what the state is, it doesn't matter what has happened. Now, I have a very close friend who is suffering right now, having had a health challenge, a health knockdown. And these things happen to us. No one is immune to challenge and suffering. And in this case, the challenge is significant. What I have heard each day from his mom is how resilient he is, what a fighter he is. That even before having the ability to speak based upon his health challenge, his mother could see the fire in his eyes and the intention to break through and heal fully from the circumstances that he suddenly found himself in. Now, I bring that up for a number of reasons. This has been heavy on my heart. Someone I consider family is suffering. It is concerning because we know that tomorrow is not promised. When it gets real close, that's when you go, "Oh, I never thought that would happen to you or you or you or me." And then something happens that can be devastating. In that devastation, there's still choice. There's still choice. What happens when you are knocked down? What happens when a health challenge knocks you off your feet? What happens when you lose a job? What happens when your relationship crumbles? What happens when someone you love passes away? What happens when you lose your home? What happens when challenges come crashing down into your world? And the crash may be small, the crash may be tremendous. What happens? Ask yourself, honestly, what do you do when a challenge befalls you? Now, I was working on a project with someone recently, and this is a small thing. And there was an obstacle. There was a step in the process that needed to be amended because the person who should have been resolving the situation wasn't there. And so if the person's not there, what do you do? Ask yourself, what do you do when there are steps to solving a challenge, when there are steps to completing a task, and one of those steps is not possible to complete in the normal uh, set of steps. So if you have steps 1 through 10, you get to step 5, you get to step 7, and oops, the way that thing is supposed to happen can't happen because the gatekeeper isn't there, because there's information that is not available, because step 7 has a hole, and what used to be required there is no longer there. What do you do? What I do is to do what my mother says, put my thinking cap on and consider, how can I figure this out? What can I do to resolve this challenge? Because I have to get to step 8 and I have a time limit to get to step 8. So this person who's working with me on a project simply wrote to me and said, I can't figure this out. This step isn't working the way it should. So I'm letting you know. That is not a solution. That was just turning it over to me, but it wasn't my responsibility. It was that person's responsibility. There was no problem solving involved. The person just gave up real fast. Real fast. Is that the way you want to live your life? Giving up when there's the first stumble? And so those, I've given you 2 examples. One is a work example. One is very simple. Here's a task that needs to be fulfilled. How it is normally fulfilled cannot happen because something is missing when you get to that step. What do? Do you just turn it over to someone else and say, now it's your job? Now it's your responsibility when it isn't? Or do you go the extra mile to figure out, what can I do to resolve this? I was taught you go the extra mile. I was taught you don't ask somebody else to handle something until you have done absolutely everything in your power to figure it out. You don't put the ball in somebody else's court and walk away. You work to figure it out. So let's look at something much more challenging, like my friend, a health challenge. It could be an economic challenge, something that feels big. Do you just wallow in it? Do you just stop what you're doing? Do you just sit down and close your eyes and squeeze your eyes shut and say, oh, when I wake up in the morning, maybe it'll be better? Does that ever work? I don't think that ever works. You know, when you were a kid, I remember as a kid, when something would happen, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. This thing is happening and it's not good. As a child, I would go in my room, get under the covers, close my eyes, scrunch my eyes, pull the covers up over my head, and somehow get it in my mind that if I hid in my bed under the covers, my mother wouldn't come to figure out what in the heck was wrong with me and what was I doing to resolve whatever the challenge was. And of course, invariably, she came. She came and she asked, what are you doing? And in a very practical mama way, she was like, honey, this is not the way to get past this. You cannot pull the covers up over your head and believe for 1 second that things are going to get better. That's not how they get better. They get better through action, through effort. And something that I have come to understand is resilience, the ability to push forward anyway, the inner strength to go for it, to continue to put one foot in front of the other, to work hard at getting through past whatever the challenge may be. And it doesn't mean it's easy. Actually, the whole point of being resilient is that it isn't easy. It's tough. But do you hide under the covers? Do you shut your heart down because you've had a heartache? Do you stop trying because your body isn't working the way that it used to? Do you close yourself off to healing because you hurt? I want to pray out loud that you don't do that. That instead you engage resiliency. And you know, I have a quote. So let me read you this quote that I have that is really, I think you will find it meaningful. It says, resilience is accepting your new reality, even if it's less good than the one you had before. You can fight it. You can do nothing but scream about what you've lost, or you can accept that and try to put together something that's good. That's from Elizabeth Edwards. I'm going to read it to you again. Resilience is accepting your new reality. I'm going to repeat this. Resilience is accepting your new reality, even if it's less good than the one you had before. You can fight it. You can do nothing but scream about what you've lost, or you can accept that and try to put together something that's good. Put together something that's good. I think about my friend. What I know from his mom is that he is surpassing the odds in his recovery because his spirit is fighting. I, I also know from his mom that the frustration is real. Why can't my body do what it did yesterday? Why can't I speak the way I did last week? Why am I handicapped right now in very basic ways? Why? And so the frustration is tremendous. Yet, I know from talking to his mom, the frustration is not what's winning. What's winning is resilience. What's winning is the fight to engage where he is and heal. Engage where he is and heal. Elizabeth Edwards said that resilience is about accepting your new reality. So, what is your new reality? And I'm mentioning my friend who's ill, but let me give you another one. It's from my life, but I'm going to say I know some of you have this same story. In less than a month, my daughter, my one child, is about to go away to college. As I say this, I'm literally welling up. We know this is happening. We have prepared her. She's ready. Everybody keeps asking me, are you ready? To witness what just happened to me when I said it to you and I welled up means so many things. You know, we are close, so close. And my job as her mother is to prepare her so that she can go out in the world and be and become her full self. So I know I have done my job. But that doesn't mean that it's easy even thinking about her leaving. It's not. She's been my heart since she was beating in my belly. That heart was beating in my belly, right? And so the resilience there for me, I'm going to see what it looks like. But what I know it is, it's the acceptance of the new reality. How do I engage my life? How do my husband and I engage our lives together? Because they're going to be different. Our life is going to be different. And I'm going to bet that plenty of you out there have a family change. I know a lot of my folks have children who are leaving to live their lives. And what happens to those of us who are left? To parents, to siblings, to family members, but especially whoever has reared you. What happens to us? We have to accept our new reality. We must. We must accept our new reality, embrace it, and figure out how to move forward. And I'm glad I'm using this as an example because this is a joyous time. Your children are supposed to grow up, become independent, and live their lives. They are not supposed to stay up under your wing for the rest of their lives. And some parents make the mistake of thinking, no, I have to hold on, I can never let go. That would be not doing your job. Your job, my job, is to rear a young lady for me so that she can fully become herself, to be empowered, and to live based on her own choices that I pray are anchored in the values and choices that we have taught her. But it doesn't mean that it isn't easy, it doesn't mean that it isn't difficult. Probably for her too, but even more for me. Resilience is what I'm going to be drawing upon in a few weeks when she moves on to the next stage of her life. So, resilience can be engaged in all kinds of ways, you guys. It is needed when you face a challenge, it is needed when there is an impediment that is tremendous and you feel like you got knocked down. It is needed when you feel annoyed, like the work situation I described. Like, really? You need me to figure this out for you? No, you should figure that out for yourself. It is needed when you get frustrated with yourself because you didn't do something you know you were supposed to do. Resilience is needed when we feel like we want to sit down and not get back up again. Resilience is needed when we feel sorry for ourselves, when we feel frustrated, when we feel angry, when we feel less than, when we feel judged, when we feel unhappy, when we feel a lack of contentment. When we look in the mirror and don't like what we see and give up and don't feel there's anything we can do to make our lives better, we need resilience. This is when we need to stand up and look in the mirror and tell ourselves, we do accept our new reality. When we look at ourselves and ask, what state am I in now? That meditation that we did in the beginning of this broadcast, and I hope for anybody who didn't do it, you go back and do that meditation. Asking yourself, what is my state? How do I feel? How do I feel in my body? What is my spirit telling me about myself? Where am I now? And where do I want to be? And how can we match those things to each other? What do I need to do in order for my mind, my body, and my spirit to be in alignment? I promise you, resilience is part of it. You have to do the work even if you don't feel like doing the work. And, when I describe my little girl self climbing in the bed, pulling the covers over my head and scrunching my eyes up and trying to get small and how that didn't work, I want you to know I have encountered many adults who do the same thing. One of my dearest friends who has passed on used to tell me when she got upset, I have to take to my bed. And I was like, why are you doing that? That was her way. She could not deal with things sometimes, and that's that's how she did. She took to her bed. And sadly, I think that part of the reason why she died is that she did not understand how to move past grief. Grief can kill you. Sadness can kill you. Anger can kill you. Lack of forgiveness can kill you. Lack of self love can kill you. And we, my friends, are looking to live and thrive and be strong. And therefore, we have to accept our new reality, embrace it, even if it is not as good as the reality we had a blink ago. Accept it. You can scream for a minute, but don't keep screaming. Instead, get to work. Figure out what you must do in order to leap into your best self, in order to engage happiness and contentment, in order to see the people and opportunities that can help you grow and blossom and find joy, that can help you notice when the wind is blowing on a hot day, that can help you open your eyes and see when someone is right there to smile back at you and to offer you a hand. Those hands are everywhere. Those hearts are everywhere. I promise you, when you engage your resilience, you see better. And so, my friends, do that meditation. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. Ask yourself, what is my state? Where am I? How do I feel? Where's my mind? Where's my body? Where's my spirit? Take your inner temperature. Where are you? What do you need? And how can you get what you need? And then go about getting it. You are worth it. I offer you my love, my respect, and a piece of my resilience. Until next time, have a great day and make it count. Namaste.